Welcome to game night tonight for another game spotlight. This spotlight is for the game Wingspan. As always, I am Brady Anderson, and this is Birdman, he says. I don't believe him. But Birdman's going to help me to explain why this is our spotlight for the week. This game is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun. Now, we literally just did a full game playthrough on this, and it is the first time either of us have played it. You picked it up at your parents' house?
Yeah, my parents had it. I'd heard a lot about it. It's a newer game, released in 2019, so I was like, you know what? Give it a shot. Why not?
So he pulls up this game with all these pictures of birds. Not being an ornithologist, I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is about. It has all these little cards with all of these, it'll show the picture of the bird and it'll give you a little description of it, but all of them have like powers and stuff that go into the game. And essentially what you're doing is you're collecting birds that then kind of roll into giving you powers to collect more birds, and you're trying to win very specific objectives in order to gain victory points towards the end to win. However, this one was a lot of fun. Namely because it does something that I haven't seen since we played Everdell. And that's that it gives you so few resources, cheesing is just not possible. You cannot cheese the game.
At all.
Every decision feels so important because it's like when you have a lot of resources in a game, it's like, oh, I have so much of, whatever this resource is, I can just throw that away and see if it works. When you have very little resources, it's like, okay, I've got this one thing. I can do like 5 things with it. Which one? And so it makes every decision that much more important, which makes you that much more involved in the game, and makes like the little losses or when it's not going well for you, again, watch the video. It increases that anxiety because it's like, oh, no, it's not like I'm suddenly going to come into a whole bunch of resources. I've got to figure out how to win this back. And so it really dives you a lot deeper than, I don't know if that's the way you felt about it.
Oh, absolutely. And like, as you can tell, him just describing it, he's not even playing it right now. It's a strategy game. As you said, limited resources. You have to figure out what you want to do first, how you're going to get the resources to get more birds, to snowball all those combinations to get you more along the track that you want to. So strategy can go multiple different ways, like tons of avenues. But again, each decision is very important and vital. A lot to it in that regard. Very simple mechanics overall. Like he said, you're going to be either playing a bird, you might be gathering resources, you might be laying eggs for those birds, or just drawing more bird cards in general. That's all that this game is. Just those 4 things, but there's so much more to it.
Because each individual bird then has its own little thing that it'll do. So as you do any one of those 4 actions, you'll go through the birds that you've put essentially on that row, and all of their actions will then activate again. And so the order in which you put them, the way that you orient things, how your opponents have their boards set up and what they're doing, all play into every single one of those actions you take as it goes further and further along.
And that brings to the next point, is how many players can play this game. This is a game for 1 to 5 players. So yes, there is a 1-player automated version, so they have cards that are specific to being able to play by yourself. But it can go up to 5 players, which makes it even more fun because your combos can then increase based on how the other players are doing. With just 2, you're hoping something happens, but I think with up to 5 players, you can have a lot more happening. It is kind of a lengthier game, between about 40 to 70 minutes is what it says. My guess is based on how much the person is thinking, or all the people you're playing with are thinking about the strategic moves they're doing, as well as how many players you have overall. I was hearing people rave about this for years. I mean, it's been 3 years now of it being out.
I had never heard of it before.
You really had never heard? Oh, well, I heard about it. Heard a lot of people suggesting it. Game stores were like, oh yeah, you should pick this one up. And I'm like, it's just birds. You're like, what are you going to do with birds? And Birdman over here was like, no. There's going to be a lot to it. And sure enough, there was a lot to it. Overall, really fun game. Definitely falls under strategy game. A little bit lengthier, as we said.
Probably a little bit older, too. I would say maybe wait till your kids are 10 to 12 before throwing this one at them.
It's not just a reading game, but it's the strategy behind the reading.
Yeah.
Like where you place the birds, as he said. There's a lot to it. So thinking in that way might not be the best for the younger crowd, but if they can read and they start getting into the strategy sense, go for it. And if you want to actually see how it's played, watch the full gameplay through, check it out up here. check it out up here. Watch that full game playthrough. Just figure out, kind of get a feel for the game. Please comment below. Have you played this game? Would you play this game? Would you recommend this game? As well as what other games do you have that you can recommend to us? Because we love picking up new games, learning new games as we just learned this one. And we'll give you our honest thoughts. And we'll go from there.
Now, that being said, we love games, so chances are we're going to like it.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
There are a couple games where we're like, I wouldn't play that again. But when I say a couple, I mean out of the hundreds of games we've played, probably 2.
Literally a couple.
Literally a couple.
But if you liked the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for all future videos that are going to be coming out so you know exactly when they are coming out. But we will catch you then next time on Game Night Tonight.
Bye.